Os, mina genki desu. Welcome back to my channel. Yesterday was Halloween, and today I went out and did some post-Halloween shopping. Not a lot of good stuff, if I'm being completely honest. A lot of it was pretty much already gone in favor for all the Christmas stuff, which I hate, but we're not gonna talk about that. So, while I was out though, I couldn't find very many Halloween stuffs, but I did find this, which is a crochet kit from Barnes & Noble, on sale for 10 bucks, and I thought, oh dude, I've always wanted to learn how to crochet, and look at these little bees, look how freaking cute they are. So I thought, you know what, why the fuck not? Let's learn to crochet.
Osmina Mirai Genki here, who is much healthier and can actually do a voiceover. I kind of tried to do this not too long after I made the video, and that was a very, very bad idea. I screwed up my voice even more. But now I'm here and I'm taking over the commentary for the actual process of creating this project. You can see a little bit of the these pink yarn to the side here, and that's because before I started the actual video, before I started actually working on this bee, I decided I needed some practice loops, because I don't know if I can define myself as a perfectionist, but I don't like starting things without either it going smoothly or that I know I'm gonna be good at, which is why making these art videos is a lot harder than you think. Because I'm very much afraid of failing at something that I want to be good at. I am pretty sure I remember redoing this whole thing, because this is further in the future. Yeah, as you can see, like, even now, I started working on the, I believe it's the round for the little bee face, and I just couldn't get it right. It didn't look right. I was confused. There is a thing in knitting and cross-stitching, really in anything, is numbering your stitches. You have to make sure that you know how many stitches are being put where, how many like rows are you gonna put in, how many rounds have you done, and I am not very good at remembering numbers. There's a word for dyslexia with numbers. I don't remember what it is, but that's what I kind of have. Where I mix my numbers around, I forget what number I'm on. So I remember, I feel like I've started over. Yeah, see, like right now I'm just undoing this whole thing because I can't keep track of my gosh darn numbers. So one thing that I do like about myself, if I may show off a little bit, is I'm actually a fairly decent reader. So a lot of the times workbooks and instructional books like these are actually very, very helpful for me. I can pretty much figure out what it is they're asking me to do. But sometimes I keep second guessing, so I ended up having to watch and look up a couple of YouTube crochet videos of, like, you know, how to get these stitches in, and how to crochet stuff together, and what they mean by, you know, a single crochet versus like a single crochet together. Like, what's the difference? Double crochet. But thank God for those YouTube videos. I actually put links in the description below for anybody who maybe wants to start crocheting themselves, and maybe are like me in that sometimes reading stuff doesn't work as well as actually seeing somebody do it or being able to follow along visually. The front part of the bee, the little face, I think looks really good. Where it starts to kind of come apart, and again, it is, I'm 100% sure, because of my lack of numerical discipline. I couldn't figure out how many loops I was supposed to do, how many rounds exactly it was, what is the first like stitch, how do I keep track of this? And it wasn't until way later I found out that there are like people use safety pins, or they have like little hooks to keep track of their crochet numbers. And my god, I wish I had that. Another thing that they didn't really explain in the books, and this was something that I could, like, even in some of the YouTube videos that I looked up, I couldn't quite figure out, and also I didn't look up too many YouTube videos because, again, I was already recording something, and I don't like to, like, be disturbed in the middle of stuff, because then I know I'm gonna get distracted. The changing off colors, like tying something off is easy, you can fasten anything off, but then connecting, like weaving in colors from, you know, black to yellow, I wasn't exactly sure how to do it. I wasn't sure which stitch I was supposed to loop through. I was like, where do I hook this? Does it matter? Do I play it off like it's already a continued bit of yarn, or is it like a completely different loop? I couldn't figure it out for some reason, and then I think there was once where I was able to kind of keep it up, and then after like looping it the first time, I couldn't figure out how to do it the second time. So that's one thing that I think I need to actually practice, is looping one color to another. Around this point of crocheting, my hands started to get a little bit tired, and my fingers were feeling really strained, because I wasn't really used to, and I wasn't really sure how tight to hold the loose thread. I thought I was supposed to thread them very tight, I guess. I don't know why. I do that a lot. I make things small and compact. I guess because I'm really worried about things unraveling, which is kind of ironic considering the number of times I've unraveled this little bee. And that's, it's just gonna get worse, I'll tell you that right now. So if I were to make a recommendation as a newbie person, a newbie crochet person to another newbie crochet person, my advice would be, if you're using one of these little books, go ahead and just, before you start, read ahead properly, because I didn't do that. I kind of just read as I went along, and I think that kind of is what messed me up a bit. You can see here I'm almost done with this yellow round here, and then it gets into black, and I got a little bit distracted thinking, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right, this doesn't look right, because I had originally thought that the piece that I had started on was actually the bee's butt. That is incorrect. That's not her butt, that's just her face. That's just how she looks. Oh. And I was not happy with it. So here again, you can already see that it is not coming out the way that I wanted her to come out. It looks really bad. It's misshapen. She's got this weird little pooch belly that I I don't like it. Like, I see it and I don't like it. Like, I absolutely do not like it. Again, I'm the type of person where if I want to start something, I want to make sure it's gonna look at least decent when I'm done. And this little guy, it just, I was very, let's just say I was very disappointed in myself. I felt like I had completely failed. Like, even to this point, I know that I'm contemplating, like, I should just throw this whole video away. I can't believe I even tried something like this, knowing that I wouldn't be very good at it. Like, I'm I can feel the despair right now regarding it, but I did get it finished. Don't worry. This isn't a completely sad ending. But around this time, I absolutely do not like the way the little bee looks, and I decided to shelve it for the day and come back tomorrow. So it is a day later. I've come back to the project, and I've decided that I do not like it. I think it looks terrible, and I am trying to unravel it. However, I can't. I can't because, one, I had already snipped all the pieces to, you know, the yarn's been snipped, it's been tied. I can't without completely destroying it anyway, and I don't have the yarn to start a new bee, so I decided, you know what? Fuck it, we ball. This is gonna be our little bee girl. She's not gonna be perfect, but that's fine. I'm gonna love her anyway. I still feel like I could have done better though. I really could have. I really think that starting small and getting big is easy, and then getting from a big size down to a small size is very rough. I had some problems with that bee butt so badly. I couldn't get it tight enough. At least not as tight as her little face. Her face, I think, came out just fine, but shrinking a large section like this was very, very difficult for me. I didn't think I'd be able to do it, to be honest. It's hard. Why is life so hard? Specifically for me. Why is life so hard for me? So around this part is where I believe it started to make the stitching smaller, or the stitch together, or the whatever. This part is the part that I was complaining about. I couldn't get the yarn tight enough. There's like little holes in her butt where once we get the stuffing in, you can actually see a good amount of the inner stuffing. It's a little bit embarrassing for me because I really thought that like like the very first part of her face, from the yellow part to the first black stripe, I think looks incredible. I think it looks really good for a first time, and then you see it deteriorate. I thought it would start off with the face, or what I thought at the time was the butt, looking really bad, but then it'll slowly come together and it'll look lovely once I'm done, once I get to the end. And that's the important bit. No, that was not the freaking case. It ended up looking worse the further I went down. How does that happen? Ugh. There have been one too many instances in my life where I had given up before I've even started on something, a project, a new job. These, my YouTube videos are like a big thing in there. Partially because, again, I didn't know how to start. I didn't know where to start, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it, if I couldn't do it correctly. And I do feel like I'm not doing a lot of things correctly. This bee is very much one of them. But I'm proud of myself for actually finishing it. Oh, because around this poor bee, it does not look good. It really doesn't. It's got like this weird little like fupa part, which, like, there's nothing wrong with that in general, but bees don't have that, especially not worker bees. Those are for queen bees only. Only a queen bee can have a fupa. So even from the camera, you can see all the little white bits that are still showing through. I don't know what I did or why or how I did it. But the stitches in the back are just, they're too big. And I'm guessing maybe I should have done either more rounds, or I should have pulled it. Oh, I couldn't pull it tighter. I was already doing this as tight as I could. So, I don't know, maybe next time the local community has like a crochet week, I'll take a class. That's what I need to do. I just need to take a class with somebody teaching me and showing me how to fix stuff. So right now I am working on the wings, which is essentially just the round bit. It's how I started with the little bee's face, and I'm pretty sure that this is the stitch that you have to do to make coasters. But again, the main problem here is that I'm not sure about the counting. So the first wing, they come out looking great on their own. Okay, not great, but they come out looking decent enough on their own. But when you attach them as wings, you realize, okay, one is kind of pulling in on itself as if trying to be a hat, and the other is a little bit bigger. So somewhere along the lines, the numbers were incorrect. And somewhere along the line, I guess I changed the tension in my fingers somehow. So you need to attach these wings to the bees in order for them to properly look like bees. Otherwise, they just look like a potato in a Charlie Brown sweater. And you don't want that, unless you do want that, which would be actually really cute. Somebody should crochet a bunch of potatoes in Charlie Brown and the Peanuts Gang cosplay. I would buy the hell out of those. Now, as I was saying, you need to attach these guys, otherwise they'll look weird. But they don't really say how to attach them. The instructions go, step 7, wings. To create the first wing, do this stuff. And then step 8, repeat step 1 to create the second wing. Step 9, assembly. Weave all the yarn tails into the body of the bee. Step 10, sew the 2 wings to the top center of the body using white yarn and a tapestry needle. What? But how exactly? Like, am I supposed to... What? I wasn't really sure what they wanted me to do. So I winged it. No pun intended. I seriously just had to wing it. and I just connected them by like maybe like 2 or 3 little crochet rounds, not a round, crap, I'm already forgetting it, what are they called, stitches. I weaved them in by like a couple of crochet stitches, and they don't hang on very well. So you can see the comparison that they don't look quite right even when they're both flattened. And here I am trying to figure out what exactly they want me to do, or how to like crochet them in, and I just had to figure something out. So it worked in the end, that's all that matters. And then the last step says to make the eyes, add small black stitches. But they don't really explain how to stitch an eye onto an already stitched up face. And what really gets my goat here, what really puts a bee in my bonnet here, if you will, is that this is the first plushie that they teach you how to make. This is number 1. I didn't skip like how to make a bear or how to make an owl before getting to the bee, so it's not like there was a step back there that I could have looked at. It is literally the first thing, and it just says to add small black stitches. But like, what do I just make one like crochet stitch? It's what I end up doing, but it's very far from perfect. I still am kind of happy with how she turned out. It's not the best bee in the world, and I do want to practice more. I think making a bee actually is kind of a good way to start. You learn your stitches, you learn how to make round things, and you need to do the round things in order to make hats, and that's what people tend to make the most out of crochet, is hats and socks and things like that. And at least at the end here, you get a little buddy, whether they're adorable and cute, or they're silly and derpy. I highly recommend giving crochet a try. Would I recommend this book? Absolutely. But make sure you have a YouTube video opened up while you do that. Otherwise, you might just have a bit of a bad time. But I think that's going to do it for future Genki. I'm going to let past Genki finish up with their side of the story. So thank you guys!
And, well, there she is. My derbiest of little bees. Oh, it's my very first crochet bee. Oh, she's super derby. She's like shaped kind of weird, but I kind of dig it. I think she's kind of cute. They didn't explain how it just says to make eyes, add small black stitches. I don't know what that means. Like how, like what, so like I did my best. Definitely counting. I know counting is like a big, it's important for stuff like crochet and knitting because you have to know how many stitches to go around. So there's a bunch of bits where I messed up and there's still like little holes here, so I feel kind of bad about myself. But I think for a first attempt with a freaking $10 set for a book, not too bad. She's my little bee and I love her. And like her wings are 2 different sizes, her butt droops a little bit. She kind of has like maybe she's an older bee. That's it. She's just an old lady bee. Leave her alone. Don't bother her. She's doing her best, okay? If I were to critique anything, the book isn't exactly as detailed, and this is definitely for people who already know I feel like this is more for people who kind of already know what they're doing in regards to crochet, and who kind of just want to, like, you know, move on from hats or whatever you're supposed to start off with when you start with crochet. I don't really care for the yarn. I feel like that it's separated a little bit too easy. I would probably pick a different type of yarn next time. But I think I'm gonna keep practicing. I'll make more bees, and who knows, maybe I'll do more from excuse me, maybe I'll do more from the book as well. Maybe I'll do more on screen, maybe I'll do more videos if you guys are interested in seeing me make creepy, derpy little bee creatures. Well, this is gonna go ahead and do it for today. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Remember, you are loved, you are appreciated, and I'm so happy that you're here on this earth creating derpy little bees with me. So until next time, my dudes, Matanyang.